My mother-in-law deliberately gave my daughter chickenpox. I'm furious that my mother-in-law, Trish, 56, intentionally exposed my 13-month-old daughter, Annie, to chickenpox, thinking it's no big deal. I'm shaking as I type this. My husband, Jack, 31, and I decided to spend our first Christmas with his family since Annie was born last year. They live 12 hours away, so we arrived 2 weeks early for Annie to bond with her grandparents. Things started fine. Despite past clashes with Trish over my parenting, she's criticized my use of disposable diapers, store-bought baby food, and anything not natural. But it was manageable. A couple of days after settling in, Jack, his dad, 63, and I went gift shopping at a mall an hour away, leaving Annie with Trish, who was thrilled to babysit. We returned to find Annie asleep on a worn-out blanket. Trish said a friend dropped it off as a Christmas gift. I thought it was some hippie recycled thing and let it go. Over the next 2 weeks, Trish insisted on making Annie's food from scratch, which annoyed me since Annie mostly smeared it or tossed bowls on the floor, as toddlers do. Trish claimed she just needed time to adjust to natural food. I mentioned it to Jack, who told me to ignore her. I bit my tongue for the holidays' sake. The day after Christmas, Annie got fussy, tossing and crying. She had a fever, which I monitored for a couple of days until it dropped. But this morning, a rash appeared with blisters on her arms and legs. Panicked, I packed to take her to the doctor. When Trish asked where I was going, I told her about the rash. She smirked smugly and said not to worry. When I pressed her, she casually admitted, without even looking at Annie, that it was chickenpox. She'd asked a friend whose grandson had chickenpox to rub a blanket on his arms, legs, and face, then brought it to her house, the same gift blanket Annie slept on. I was floored. I don't even remember what I yelled at her, something like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" I hadn't slept in 2 days, constantly checking on Annie. Jack and his dad tried to calm things, but Trish doubled down, insisting chickenpox is the best, natural way to boost Annie's immunity. We had a vaccination schedule with our pediatrician, with the chickenpox shot planned for 18 months. The doctor confirmed it was chickenpox, advising me to trim Annie's nails and put socks on her hands at night to prevent scratching, which could scar. On the drive back, Jack defended Trish, saying she meant well. I couldn't believe he was siding with her. We argued the whole way until I told him to shut up. Annie's scratching like crazy, and I had to put socks on her hands. When we got back, Trish tried talking, but I told her to get out of my sight. We planned to stay until Wednesday, but I'm packing to leave tomorrow. I'm so angry I can't think straight. Every time I hear Trish in the kitchen, I want to rip her hair out. I never want to see her again or let her near Annie. How do I make her and Jack understand the gravity of what she did? I can't talk calmly until Annie's better. Comments summarized. Commenter 1, why wasn't Annie vaccinated? Author, we follow the pediatrician's schedule. Annie got her measles shot at 1 year, and chickenpox is set for 18 months. Commenter 2, if someone deliberately infected my kid to undermine me, they'd never see them unsupervised again. Your husband needs to stop being a mama's boy and step up as a dad. My take, was Trish's stun okay, or totally out of line? I say it's unacceptable. Even if natural immunity works, you don't expose a kid without the parent's consent. It's disrespectful and reckless. Drop your thoughts in the comments, let's see what happened next. Update, thanks for the comments, DMs, and advice, especially the home remedies for itching. Things got worse. I woke up early to pack the car, keeping my keys in my pocket since I was in and out. Usually, we use Jack's key, mine stays in my bag. While I packed, Jack sat with his parents, sipping coffee like nothing happened. Annie was asleep, so I strapped her into her car seat and closed the door. Jack asked if I had everything. I said we were ready once he was. He calmly pulled out his key, locked the car with Annie inside, and said we weren't leaving until I apologized to Trish. I was stunned. He repeated his BS about Trish meaning well, saying chickenpox isn't deadly, I was overreacting, and I made Trish feel bad. I told him to stop being a mama's boy and be a dad. He snapped that he'd always be Trish's son, and I had to apologize for yelling at her to fix the vibe. I felt like I married a 9-year-old. I demanded he unlock the car. He refused, told me to be reasonable, and went inside. He assumed my keys were in my bag on the passenger seat. Nope. I waited 30 seconds, got in, and drove off. My phone blew up. Jack, Trish, his dad, then my parents and sister, Jess, who I'm close with. I texted Jess the basics the night before, and she was shocked at the full story. Jack had told her I lost it, scared Trish, grabbed Annie, and sped off. On the road, I asked Jess to call Jack and tell him to walk home. I didn't care. My parents and Jess offered to meet me halfway so I wouldn't drive 12 hours alone with a toddler. When we met at a roadside diner, I broke down, sobbing and telling them I loved them. They took turns driving while I napped. Talking it out with them was grounding. They agreed Trish and Jack were out of line. I stayed at my parents' that night, and they said I could stay as long as needed. The next few days were rough. Annie scratched despite my efforts, leaving 5 scars on her face and more on her arms. I know looks aren't everything, but I'm furious her skin's marked for life over Trish's nonsense. I never imagined I'd be here. I answered one call from Jack, who said he didn't recognize who I'd become. I hung up. He was due back after his vacation, and I dreaded it but thought we could coexist with Trish 12 hours away. Then, at 11 p.m., I got a curt text from his dad's phone. Trish has shingles and is in the ER. Jack's staying to care for her, working remotely after his leave. For weeks, Jack's been catering to Trish, who's probably milking it with one foot in the grave. Drama. From my research, shingles comes from the chickenpox virus reactivating when immunity's low. Ironic since the vaccine could have prevented it. Weeks ago, I was exhausted, depressed, and lost. Now, at home with people who care, I see how lucky I am to spot Jack's mommy issues early. That he cares more about Trish than Annie says it all. When he returns, we'll have a serious talk about our future. Comments summarized. Commenter 1, he locked your sick baby in the car to manipulate you. That's awful. You did right leaving. Your priorities as a parent are solid. Good luck, and hope Annie recovers fast. Commenter 2, locking a sick toddler in a car? Disgusting behavior. Props for staying cool. I'd have lost it. Poor kid with that dad. Commenter 3, shingles only happens if you've had chickenpox. The virus stays in you forever. The vaccine prevents it. Ironic. I'd send divorce papers before Trish decides Annie needs to join Scientology. My take, Trish's natural plan backfired hard. Annie's scarred, and she got shingles. You don't infect a kid without parental consent, period. Jack's behavior, locking Annie in the car, is next level awful. Can the heroine move forward with him? What would you do? Let's move to the next story. Story 2, my dad disowned my sister, now he's dying. How do I get him to talk to her? Our family was tight until 2003, when Dad, 55, found out Mom, 54, was cheating with his childhood best friend, John, 54, who was best man at their wedding. Dad begged Mom to stay, but she left and married John 5 months after the divorce. My twin sister, Sarah, 27, was a daddy's girl, always trailing him as a kid. It shocked us when, post-divorce, she chose to live with Mom. I stayed with Dad, the only kid still at home. We have 4 older brothers. Sarah's choice crushed Dad. He put on a brave face but cried nightly for a year. He still doted on her, attending her events, spoiling her more than ever. I'd visit Mom sometimes, and Sarah came to Dad's on weekends. Things shifted when Sarah, who planned to follow Dad, a surgeon, into medicine, was pushed by Mom and John, both lawyers, to study law. John mentored her, they got close, and after graduating, she joined his firm. In 2017, Sarah got married, and Dad was over the moon, giving her an unlimited budget for her dream wedding. He always loved weddings but was especially excited for Sarah's, his only daughter, dreaming of walking her down the aisle. The day before, she announced both Dad and John would walk her down. Dad, the most non-confrontational guy, didn't take it well. They had a huge fight. First time I saw him angry, and he didn't attend the wedding. Sarah walked with John. The fallout was massive. Dad and our paternal family cut Sarah off, refusing to speak to her. She tried apologizing and reconnecting, but Dad shut her out, even refusing to meet her son born in 2018. Earlier this year, Dad was diagnosed with terminal pancreatic cancer. Treatment didn't work. Even now, he won't see Sarah, and she's desperate. I'm close to Dad, and these last weeks have been brutal. How do I convince him to reconcile with Sarah before he's gone? Update: some asked for an update, but life doesn't always give happy endings. This one's sad. A week after my post, Dad's condition crashed. He passed a month ago. It was gut-wrenching. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I wasn't prepared for the pain. He suffered so much and deserved peace. In his final moments, he was lucid, saying goodbye to me and my brothers. His words to me were the most painful yet beautiful moment of my life, too personal to share. He kissed my daughters, 11 months and 2 years, on the forehead, telling them to be good and that he loved them. I'll never forget it. My heart breaks that they're too young to understand. My oldest asks for Grandpa, and explaining he's gone kills me. I'm 27, I should have had years with him. It's so unfair. The worst is Sarah. Dad died without speaking to her. I tried bringing her up, but he refused. She grew desperate, in denial about his condition, then he was gone. The funeral was beautiful, with warm stories about him. Sarah saw Dad for the first time since the night before her wedding. She didn't recognize him. Cancer withered him from his dad bod to frail. She sobbed through the funeral. Mom and John tried to attend, but uncles kicked them out. The will went as expected. Dad's family, in petrochemicals for generations, is wealthy. He left money and property equally to all kids, including Sarah, and a large trust for his grandkids, including Sarah's son he never met. He didn't care much about money, just wanted us secure. Dad left each of us a long, personal letter, except Sarah. Mine reflected on my childhood, making me cry every time I read it. A photography buff, Dad made us each an album of family photos, with notes on the back explaining where they were taken and what they meant. It was a touching, classic Dad farewell he must have prepared long before. Sarah's album had no notes. When she learned this, she had a breakdown, hospitalized for a week. She's slowly recovering, eating and sleeping better, though she still cries randomly. Her husband and I think she'll make it. Last week, my wife and I learned we're expecting unplanned, due to a missed week of her new birth control. It's early, so we haven't told anyone. I'm angry my kid will never meet Dad. He should have been here to guide me through fatherhood. He taught me so much with my girls, but now I'm on my own, scared I won't be the dad he was. It's unfair. This is a bitter ending. I replay what ifs daily, but it changes nothing. Thanks for your advice and support. I felt so alone, and still do. It meant everything. My take: is life fair or unfair? Is it pain and suffering, or joy and pleasure? I lean pessimistic, maybe an informed optimist or realist. My dad said life is pain, and that stuck with me. What did your parents say? Share your take on life in the comments. Thanks for watching. Share this video, check out our previous ones linked here, subscribe if you haven't, and see you next time.